And then we have the final guy. Again, not 4 different kids. 4 parts in every one of us. She'eni dei lishol. He doesn't even know what to ask. You know, sometimes we can be so, in Yiddish, what do they say? Verklempt. Right? Like, so like overwhelmed, stuck. Right? Like, you finally go to the Kaisel, you know, if that's your place, or Rav Nachman, or wherever it is, and you're waiting to go, and you travel, you go to the Rebbe, whatever your thing is, and nothing's coming out. You know, like on Purim, I had that. I was thinking on Purim, it says, I was learning from the NESIVAS SHALOM. On Purim, I learned about how special the day is. You can ask, Kol ha-poishit yad noisimle. Whoever reaches out your hand, and Hashem does the same thing, and I was like, and I'm like, okay, what actually do I want? You know, like, and how do I get my? It takes a lot of work. So the she'eni dei lishol is the part of us that needs some help over here. At PESACH. This guy is kol mahusay sagar. His whole essence is sagar. He's closed. Liboy sagar. His heart is cold and closed. You can't arouse any feelings. Moichay sagar. His mind is just closed. Ad ki afilu l'shoel mashu en yedeh, to the point that he can't even ask. Now again, we have to be deep. It's not only 100%. The guy who's like, right? We might have 5%, 10%. Why are we not going up to a holier, higher madrega? Because there's part of that that's close to us. Like my friend who goes to that Erev Chodesh, you know, holy stuff. My heart is closed. I'm not ready for it. My mind is close to that. It doesn't interest me. And then I have to think. I have to work on it. Well, why am I not interested? What are you so worried about? Why can't you go? You know, I had friends that were going to Ribnitz one night to go pray. And I was like, no, it's okay. Is it Tom? Is it laziness? Is it, I don't have chiyus de kedusha? Or is it just that I'm close to that? We all have madregas above us that we're closed off to. We all do. Some people start learning Kabbalah. Other people don't because they're closed off to that. They're not ready for it. So the she'eni dei lishol is not even asking. Because we all have parts that we're not even, believe me, that's like so out of whack, it's not my concern. My mind and my heart is shut to that. Again, some people have it, they're shut to everything. But sometimes we have it shut to certain things. And we need to address that. But the Torah gives us a eitzah, a solution, and a salvation, b'chag HaKadosh hazeh, on this holy night, on this holy chag, on this festival. Shenemar, v'yigadati lebincha b'yoyim ahu leimar, ba'avur zeh, osa Hashem li b'tzeisi mimitzrayim. Now let's understand what this is. Hainu, sheyavid l'Hashem yizbarach b'soich matzavai hasogor, be'amuna pshuta, afilu mitoich segira deliba. The answer to you, Mr. Tom, that you're saying, I'm closed off, I'm not going to daven, or I'm not going to minyan, or I'm not going to that SHIUR. The answer is, serve Hashem the way you are now. That's the solution to get an opening in your heart and in your mind. We're always like waiting to feel it. So many people say, I don't feel it. Do it without feeling. They say a story, I believe, that it was the Imre Emes, the Ger Rebbe, I believe, that he asked his grandfather, the Sfas Emes, what should I do when I'm not in the mood to learn? So he told him, learn not being in the mood. What should I do when I don't have cheshik? Learn without cheshik. And that actually gets you closer to having cheshik. Right? And there's another beautiful pshat also in Pirkei Avos. It says, Al toimer, don't say, l'kishe efne eshne, that when I have time, I'll learn. Shema loitipana, maybe you're not going to have time. And I think it's the Kotzker Rebbe that said, I'm not sure who, I think it's the Kotzker Rebbe, Al toimer l'kishe efne eshne. Don't say, when I have time, or when I'm ready, or when I'm in the mood, my heart is open, my mind is open, then I'm going to sit and learn. Shema, maybe loitipana, maybe Hashem wants a loitipana learning. Don't say, I'm going to learn when I'm in the mood, because maybe Hashem wants you to learn when you're not in the mood. Shema loitipana, maybe Hashem is asking you now, He wants to see you serve Him not in the mood. So we tell this part of us, that in Mitzrayim, we were sagar. And this is how each piece of this is tied into Mitzrayim. In Mitzrayim, we were closed off. Sagar ma'oid. Kiloshin chazal shahi b'b'chinas uber b'mei behema. We had no independence, no atzma'ut. We were like Chazal say, we were like a uber, a baby in the mother's stomach. We had no ability to do anything. We were closed off emotionally, not just physical, by the way. Interesting that Mitzrayim was not a physical enslavement only. It was an emotional enslavement. We're going to be learning about that next week. It's fascinating. It's all about addiction and emotional enslavement, which I encourage you all to attend because it's just off the charts unbelievable. What the NESIVAS SHALOM, what we learned from that. So much of what I do with kids and help people came from next week's SHIURim. It wasn't just a physical enslavement. It was emotional to the point that we couldn't talk and we lost our independence. We were like uber b'mei behema, like a how do you say uber? Fetus in a cow's fetus. That's basically what we were. And by the way, I want to add, that's why it says that no slave ever escaped Mitzrayim. And in my book, where we talk about this in GPS, is a plug for my book. It's for kids, teens of all ages. And it's really all NESIVAS SHALOM, very deep stuff, but it's made very simple. And we talk about this. I have a tremendous chiddush. You know why no slave ever escaped Egypt? It's really impossible. You can take the maximum security prison. Somebody escapes from it. Mitzrayim, nobody escaped. Not because they had guards. Because in Mitzrayim, they put us in an emotional prison that we didn't even try to escape. As we're going to learn next week, it was called Beis Avodim, the house of Avodim. That's like a manufacturing plant. A manufacturing plant is called House of Glass, where you manufacture glass. Mitzrayim was Beis Avodim. They knew how to manufacture Avodim. They knew how to take a free-spirited, a free-thinking, independent person. They put him through this process until he lost his brain completely. And even if they open up the door and they say, go ahead, he wouldn't even try to leave. And we know that's called Stockholm Syndrome, which we're going to talk about next week. That was a commercial for next week's SHIUR. So in Mitzrayim, we were just like the Sheni Yedei Elishal guy. We were closed. Not only that, we couldn't even talk. Sagar Aleim HaMidbar. It says the Midbar closed us off. That's what the Mitzrayim said. Look, they're closed off by the Midbar. And Chazal tell us, I believe actually it's a Zohar HaKadosh, Hainu Koyach HaDibur, Sagar Aleim HaMedaber. We lost our Koyach HaTfilah. We couldn't even talk. When it came screaming out to Hashem, as we learned last time, the Dalad L'Shainis of Geula, of Anocha, were all moaning without, it was nothing. Za'aka was B'li Kol. Because we lost our Koyach HaDibur. So how did we get out of there? I have to say it, even though I said it over at the last year, I have to say this again because I just think it's, I don't know, can I say it? Dvar Torah is cute? I don't know. I think it's just so zis, so sweet. Sweet is better than cute. Okay. But it's cute. Mesikos. Now, but listen to this. NESIVAS SHALOM says, I don't understand. Hashem tells Moshe Rabbeinu, I want you to go ahead and speak to Pari. Moshe says, I can't. Kvad peh, I can't talk. I have a problem talking. And it's like, really? Did you ever look a few parshas ahead? He doesn't stop talking for a minute. He doesn't say that. I say that just to get a chuckle, like you're laughing, right? What happened? You couldn't talk, all of a sudden he's talking. The teretz is that the koyach hadibur of the tzaddik, of the leader, of the manhig, koyach of the manhig comes from the people. We lost our ability to speak. Moshe Rabbeinu had no ability to speak. Afterwards, we regained our ability, our koyach hadibur. But until then, and you think about it, what's the difference between an animal and a human? Ability to speak. We became, like he says, uber b'mei, he doesn't say uber b'mei imai, which I thought he says. He says uber b'mei behema. We weren't just a fetus, we were a fetus in a behema, in a cow, in a behema, in an animal. We lost the difference that between humans and animals because we couldn't even talk. We didn't even pray. We didn't even say, Hashem, please get me out of here. We lost it. We just were like, and everybody, again, this is talking about us. We all have that point where, here's a Tehillim, go daven. I can't even daven. I find, I don't know if this is true, I made it up, but this is what I think is true, that people who suffer from physical illness can daven. People who have emotional pain, sagar aleim hamedaber, takes away our ability to call out to Hashem. I find that emotional pain, psychological, psychiatric, mental pain, causes us to not even be able to daven. And that's what happened to them. And that's what happened to us. That was us in Mitzrayim. We couldn't even talk. We couldn't put together a sentence. We couldn't say, Hashem, please, I know you can do it. Please rescue us. We couldn't. We were at. For example, if I kick you in the shin, you're going to scream. But if a truck runs over your foot, it's so painful, you're not going to make a sound. And in GPS, I bring a true story of Danjo, I forgot his name, but it's documented that a car flipped over and severed his leg, and the car pinned him down. And the paramedics said when they came, he was so much in shock, he was talking to them regular. Like he didn't scream or anything, he didn't have. So different things happen to us. Sometimes we can't deal with it. That's denial. Some things happen, it's so painful, we just regular because we can't process it. And sometimes the pain is so overwhelming that we can't even catch our breath. We can't even express ourselves. We can't even use what makes us different than animals. We can't use our koyach hadibur. And that's okay because look what happened. That happened to us then also. So what happened? We were mechazik in emunah. We still had faith. We didn't have tefillah, but we had faith. So even when we're at that part that we're stuck and we can't even pray, but we can still believe and we can still have faith. And this is why I love NESIVAS SHALOM. He always makes it so personal. And so too, Ge'ulas nafshay, so too this redemption of your soul. It depends on your being mechazik and your emunah, even in that situation of a closed heart and a closed mind. And then, Yipaschu l'fanav shari oira, and then specifically, that's the key to opening up the door to salvation and to light, to enter your mind. We'll end with this. Klal hadvarim kedisa b'sfarim hakadoshim. The inyan masher dibur Torah keneged kol hadalad banim. Ki b'Pesach yesh l'kulam aliyah. It's a mistake. Aliyah, it should say. V'afilu l'rasha yesh aliyah b'leil hachag hakadosh. The bottom line is dibur Torah keneged arba banim. It's the separate children, but it's also not. It's each one of us that has all of this inside of us. And everybody gets an aliyah on Pesach. They got questions, we have questions. The Torah gives us answers on how to get out of all of these type of problems. And even that Rasha has an aliyah in this holy, holy night. And this is what we tell him, Ilu hoya sham, loy hoya nigel, ki amlam kaidem she kara hatayra ben, loy hoysa loy aliyah. Ilu hoya sham, loy hoya nigel. Very interesting. Saying back there in Mitzrayim, with that attitude, you would not have been redeemed. But you should know, afterwards, Shekulam Nikru Banim, Yesh Gam Loy Aliyah B'Leil HaChag HaKodesh. That was before Matan Torah. After Matan Torah, you have nothing to worry about because it was only over there Loy HaYinigel with that attitude. Right? But after Matan Torah, we're all called Banim Atem L'Hashem L'Keichem. We all received the Torah. And that's why he can have an aliyah on this night. And then he ends with such a fascinating, beautiful idea. What was our taina on the Rasha? He was hoitzi atzmei min haklal. He took himself out of the klal, right? And we said another vart before in kafa be'ikar. Now we're going to say a pshat on lefisha hoitzi atzmei min haklal. He says, you know what the problem is? It says in Noam Elimelech, Parashas Devarim, that there's a world that's called Kol Yisrael, the entire Klal Yisrael together. There's a world. And in that world, it's Shalom B'li Pgam. There's nothing that gets damaged in that world. Sharak hayechidim chaytim leparakim. Sometimes individuals may sin sometimes, but the Klal, the general Klal Yisrael, B'loi chaytu pgam. And this Rasha goes ahead, and he takes himself out of Kol Yisrael. He's hoitzi atzmoi min haklal. The Rasha says, "Ma avoda zeis lachem loshen rabim daheinu lama atem oichlum nesa pesach dafka bechabura uvaachdos v'lama yefshel lekayim kolecha b'fnei atzmoi v'loy l'sachidim klal Yisrael." He has a problem with achdos. He has a problem with being a part of everybody. He's like, I don't need to go ahead and go to shul, and I don't need to go to the what do you call farbringen. I could do it myself. What do I need this for? And we tell him, you should know, ilu hayasham, with that attitude, Lo nigel, you would not have been redeemed. Ki ha'etza l'rasha rak liyos mechuber l'klal Yisrael. Because the only etza for those and the part of us that is struggling is to be mechuber, connected to Klal Yisrael. Like tzaddikim say, so beautiful. Al tihi rasha b'fnei atzmecha. What's Pashut Pshat? Don't be a rasha b'fnei atzmecha in your own eyes. Tzaddikim say, even if you're a rasha, but don't be b'fnei atzmecha. Don't be all alone. Isn't that nice? Al tihi rasha. Don't be a rasha by yourself. Afilu mata rasha. Al tiya b'fnei atzmecha. Don't be alone. Ela teschaber l'klal. Join up with Klal Yisrael. Al yidei zeh tiyeh geulascha. That will be your redemption. V'zeh soid geulaseinu. And that is the secret of our redemption. Not to be alone. Yeah, but I feel like I sin so much. I don't belong there. Stop it. Come join us. Come join us. Be a part of us. And join us. Al tihi rasha b'fnei atzmecha. No matter what you did last night, doesn't matter. Don't seclude yourself. Be a part of everybody. Go to shul. Go to the kumzitz. Go to the fabrengen. Go to the SHIUR. Yes, be a part of us. That's his problem. He says, no, I'm different than everybody. He's from a separate world. That's what we tell him. You were kafar be'ikr. You, what's kafar? You ignored. There's a better word. You deny, thank you. You deny the main thing. Shekafa be'ikr sayd hagula. You deny the main fundamental part of our redemption, which is achdus, to be a part of Klal Yisrael. Ayidei his achdus b'koyach haklal. And that's his mistake. So that's what we have to remember when we don't feel like joining up. I'm not in the mood. It's not for me. I'm not good enough. All of that stuff. We have to toivel ourselves, like we say. Mikveh Yisrael Hashem. Mikveh Yisrael Hashem. So one of the pshatim is that, you know what the best mikveh is? The Mikveh Yisrael. Dancing, surrounded with other Jewish people. That's metaher us, when we are surrounded by Jewish people. I hope this helped us answer the 4 banim and the 4 parts of us. We all have different shades of this inside of us. And we have questions and problems, and these are the solutions to work on ourselves and, of course, our children and those who are struggling. Have a good Yontif.